All the Cold War maps are fucking huge.
And then I remember someone using it in Warzone. It was just blurry nonsense. Speaking of nonsense, welcome to the Mere Nonsense podcast.
Well,
We're all
hello.
wearing hats.
No, I don't want to, Billy.
Nobody
We've
wants to see your bald head, anyways.
Mine or his.
bofa.
I need a haircut.
Me too.
This
Me
shit's
three.
longer than I'm used to.
Same.
Yeah,
Yeah,
show us
so
your
you
hair,
need to
Z.
get that beard trimmed.
Yeah, it's like a 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah,
5 o'clock shadow in the forehead.
I got more
On the
hair on my face than you have in your head.
That's debatable. We've been super into this new game called Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel.
Hold on, we're not gonna start the podcast talking about Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are.
Fuck.
Dude, Billy already put a 40-hour work week on that game.
What do you mean? I no way I have 40 hours in that bit. Actually, I've
I'm
been on it
going
all
to
day today,
guess
so probably.
Billy has. Oh, you have 35.7.
Yeah, I've been playing it a lot today. I think it's been on like all day today.
I bet you like 10 of
actually.
those hours is just you leaving it on.
Yeah, it really is. Like I'll play it during lunch during the week, and then I'll go back to work and I'll just leave it running in the background.
Yeah. It's fun. For a free game, I think it has a lot to offer, so it's nice. Um, I was thinking that the solo mode wasn't going to be nearly as good or nearly as long. I mean, I'm not gonna call
No.
it good. There's that the Monarch and the Elemental one. I'm still going through the Elemental one. That's so annoying. I hate playing with that goddamn loner deck.
Yeah,
Loner
I
deck's
stopped
the
using the
fucking
loner
worst.
decks. I think after the Monarch, there was a ritual. A
The
ritual
ruin
one.
deck.
Yeah, the ruin deck. I hated that so much.
I loved using it when we had it as the loner, but I hated going against it with anything else. Like it didn't matter what, it just seemed like they always pulled out something that was a little bit better than mine that I had out, and then it just goes downhill from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just it's taking too long for what could be a few minutes of a match while I'm just trying to understand the cards instead of actually playing the game.
Yep.
So especially like that Monarch one, there's
Mhm.
so much to read for every single card they have. And
Right.
like some of the things I did with that deck, I just didn't even know I did it. Like
Yep. That's, I mean, I will say because it is solo mode, it's nice that there's like no time limit, so you do have the time to read, but a lot of us are impatient, and the tutorial that you get with the card is you happen to draw this card. Now use it and chain it with this combo so you
yeah,
can win.
which is
And
helpful and all, but
it
it
doesn't help me learn the deck.
yeah, it's like doing it for you.
Right. And
Um,
and I mean, you could argue that the loaner decks and the no time limit is so you can help like learn it, but I want to play the damn game. I don't want to spend 40 minutes reading different card effects to serve, determine what to do.
right.
Right.
I would also, however, rather people do it in solo mode than try to figure it out in ranked mode, because I am tired of people taking 15 minutes, even though it's a 5-minute timer. I know I'm fucking exaggerating here, but like literally taking all of their time to read card effects and determine what they want to do while chaining together a 16 card combo.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna fall asleep with these damn matches.
I
And
think
it's either
that.
that or you go up against the people that just like one shot you and that's it.
Yep.
I
You
think.
get fucking one turned.
I think that's a lot of the super sweat nerds that are like, do I want to do this one or do I want to do this one? And then they're sitting there
Yeah.
and then they're trying to figure it out for literally 3 minutes.
Hey, do this
Ah.
one, then there'll be this,
We're just those Yu-Gi-Oh boomers that want to enjoy playing the game like when we were kids, I guess.
So
That meme you sent earlier.
Yeah.
I was talking to Billy earlier. I would be interested with for event modes or even making
Mhm.
it like a playlist where you could play with older decks uh, for fun, where you could only have cards from this era of Yu-Gi-Oh or this era of Yu-Gi-Oh,
Right.
What if
or you both of you get two completely random loner decks.
what
Oh,
if
that'd be
they
fun.
did it where it was like if it's an older deck, it's got older rules.
Yeah.
So if you've got Yugimoto's deck from the original Yu-Gi-Oh, you got 2,000 life points, but you can't attack life points directly.
I would, I would hate that though.
That would be the slowest gameplay ever.
Or the fastest. That
Yeah,
I
yeah, or the
Man,
fastest.
episode 1 Yu-Gi-Oh, dumb. Episode 50 Yu-Gi-Oh, probably great. I don't know what episode it is, but that rule set I'm sure was better. They changed the rules
Probably.
of
I
their
know.
own game
A
two
lot.
episodes in.
Every season. But
but
yeah,
but
two
like,
episodes in, yeah.
because so you think episode 1 of OG Yu-Gi-Oh was
Oh,
him playing Kaiba in the
It's like,
Coliseum thing,
yeah.
and you were just able to spawn whatever the fuck you wanted. Then I think for episode, well, it was Pegasus, and then he fought Weevil on the boat. And once they got to Pegasus Island is when you had to start sacrificing.
yeah.
And then once it came to Battle City, that's when things actually started to, like, the rules started to actually make sense. Because even if Yu-Gi-Oh created their own rule in the show, they still found a way to break it later in the show.
Oh yeah.
It happened all the time.
All the time. There's I can't really think of one, but you
And
know.
I know that, yeah, I know that there were plenty, like, oh yeah, there's only one way where you can spawn this monster, and then, like, I don't know, 20 episodes later they do it without having to do that.
Yeah, which
20
is
ridiculous times Yu-Gi-Oh broke its own rules. First season summoning,
the fact that that's a
the
thing.
the entire labyrinth arc.
Yeah.
Remember the
The
Siamese
Oh,
twins
that
guy?
see,
yeah,
that's
where's
exactly the one that I think of anytime I um, think about like them not following the rules. It's just all
Yeah.
over the place. Like,
Oh, this was a fucked one. Multiply every time it was used. The card Multiply in real life summoned some tokens. In the anime, it summoned several thousand Garibos that stopped literally anything from touching you ever and win the game automatic.
Mhm.
Do you remember that? That's when I believe Yugi used that against Kaiba before going into the final part of the Pegasus arc. When Kaiba basically was like, "I'm gonna kill my, or you're gonna kill me if you beat me," that type deal.
oh yeah,
Wasn't it the one where I think it was a duel with Kaiba, but it wasn't that late. It was one of the earlier ones, wasn't it? Because Kaiba used the was it White Stream Burst from his blue eyes, and the Karibos just kept fucking popping
oh
up.
yeah. That was right before they got into the castle
Yeah.
because
That's
Kaiba
the
Oh,
was
was it? Yeah.
yeah
Was it then?
yeah Kaiba was trying to get to his brother or something like that. I don't know.
Oh,
yeah.
because Yugi surrendered that duel, didn't he?
Yeah, he surrendered for
Yeah.
Serenity.
So Kaiba
Surrendered Serenity.
Trinity, Kaiba, they were on top of like the big
They're
castle,
on the
whatever the fuck,
terraces.
and Kaiba stood at the edge. And for whatever reason, these fake monsters, when they attack, actually cause like shakes in the air. So Kaiba's like, if you destroy my monster, the shockwave is gonna send me flying backwards.
Yeah. So I know I cracked a joke earlier about Joey Wheeler being a redneck and like destroying meta cards with like a baby dragon card, but all right, you guys remember that filler between was it Duelist Kingdom and Battle City where they do the dungeon dice monsters?
Hmm. With
Like
Duke Devlin.
imagine creating that and losing to someone that's not even a main character for like constantly dueling because it was Taya that ended up beating him,
Yeah.
Oh,
wasn't it?
I thought
Or was
Joey
she
ended up
was
beating him.
she was she on the line?
I think she was on the line, and I think it was Taya and Serenity were on the line, and Duke Devlin had. Oh no, you know what it was? Duke Devlin had his own little cheerleaders, and he kept calling, um, fucking Joey a dog. So if he won, Joey would have to walk around in the dog costume.
Yeah.
That's the one I'm thinking of. And then Joey, did
Didn't he
Joey
do
win
that
that or did he
anyways?
lose it?
I remember Joey being in a dog costume,
Yeah, I
so
do remember that too. Maybe it was Taya that survived, that rescued him.
So I
probably.
think she was
Imagine
the
the
one that was using
yeah,
the dungeon dice. But still, imagine creating a game and
losing to
losing to
someone
someone.
that won.
Yeah, it doesn't actually duel.
This
Like,
symbol means friendship, and it's a smiley face and Sharpie on their hands.
I
Fun
I've
fact:
been
the 50th episode of Yu-Gi-Oh was the first episode of season 2, and it's when Bandit Keith stole Yugi's Millennium Puzzle, and they were in that warehouse at dueling it out,
Uh,
and Yugi tried to save the Millennium Puzzle.
yeah.
so
I didn't. I don't remember watching too much into this show, but I just remember Bakura being like low key evil because of his Millennium Puzzle or
yeah.
Millennium thing, and everyone just kind of glossed over it
He,
always.
he was always that sneaky guy, like hiding in a bush with like an evil smile, while like
Well,
everyone else was doing something.
well, because there was Bakura, and then there was his Millennium Piece, which gave him an evil persona, and it was just stronger than Bakura. And however many times Yugi banished the evil Bakura to the Shadow Realm, only for him to be like, "I hid a piece of my soul in the Millennium Piece."
Can we talk about how Yugi grows into a full ass grown ass adult?
Yeah, he gains
And none
like
of his
three
friends
feet
notice.
in height. Yeah,
Like, so I understand that that could have been, but they don't explain this. Like, I'm pretty sure, like in manga or anything. But in Demon Slayer, you get the animation of like the fire and the water and the electricity. That doesn't exist.
Mhm.
That they aren't using actual water or fire. That's just an artistic form to show us.
Right.
In Jujutsu Kaisen, um, when Itadori turns into Sukuna, he gets a bunch of tattoos. People don't see that. That's for the audience.
Right.
So could have been something like that, but they don't fucking say that. He just literally grows 3.5 feet because the dude's like 2 feet tall
and they
normally,
I
and then
mean,
he grows taller than Taya.
this doesn't Taya kind of mention something about him looking different when he's dueling?
I think so.
And everyone else
Because
is like, nah, that's just Yugi
Taya has that little arc of her talking
helping
to
the
or like
Pharaoh.
helping Yami, yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess you're right. So no, it's just stupid. Oh my god, he just grew 3 inches when he fights.
Are you high? That's just our Yugi boy out there.
and they call him Yami Yugi.
Yeah.
Apparently,
Well, because
Yami was
that,
what,
that's what they
dark or
call all
something
of
like that.
the. Yeah, yeah, because
But
Yami's dark in
Yami,
Japanese or something like
yeah.
that. But that's all of them. Like the dark Bakura or the evil Bakura is Yami Bakura.
Or like OG Yu-Gi-Oh was somewhat, I wouldn't say satanic, but you know,
It's a
a lot
child's
darker
card game with
than
killing
what it
people.
was
How old were
before.
you when you realized that the Shadow Realm was just them killing people?
I mean, like, isn't the Shadow Realm like an actual thing? Like
In the
in the
game,
show,
In
yes,
real
or
life.
in the game, in the
in
in
real
the
life,
real
yeah.
life, in the series, yes,
Oh,
but
I'm pretty
it
sure like it's an actual thing that like you can get lost in the Shadow Realm or some shit. Like, wasn't that a fucking plot point from
you
Yu-Gi-Oh!
might be thinking
GX?
of
You're thinking of the
the guy's
movie
key.
Insidious.
Well, because the guy's key that lets him go into people's minds, and if he dies, he goes to the Shadow Realm, but he can get lost in someone's mind. Because Yugi's
Right,
was
Did
like all
that.
which
tricked and
is the
shit.
whole plot of Insidious. The kid goes to the Shadow Realm, and then, you know, out of
Insidious
nowhere,
is
the movie became so huge that they spun sequels, and it caused Brad to look for shittier movies like Open House.
open house. The sequel.
Open House is a direct sequel to Insidious.
The streak continues. Thank you.
Insidious is a direct sequel to Yu-Gi-Oh.
Imagine.
We gotta find a way to put it in every week.
Okay, but then, so what is that red demon? Is that a card?
Wait, in Insidious?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is that a card or is that someone like
it's
Pegasus?
it's dis it's
That's Yami Yugi.
oh that's discount obelisk.
Disc.
Discount. No, it's
Darth Maul?
Darth Maul, dude. Star Wars.
Sorry. Oh, okay, so now it's branching into Star
Idiot.
Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Didn't
kid
you
is
know
actually
that?
Anakin, the one that can go into the
It's
Shadow Realm.
It's Darth Maul going into the past, trying to kill Anakin before Anakin becomes a Jedi.
Is he trying to kill Anakin or General Kenobi?
Bofa? I don't know.
Bofa. But
I'm
Kenobi
so
wins.
excited for the fucking Kenobi movie or show.
Can the first episode just be like him walking in like some, I don't know, messed up downtown area, like black market thing? He goes through a door, he meets someone, and he's like, "Hello there."
And
It's
then
Grievous in a
some
maid
robot
outfit.
some robot comes out with like 6 arms.
General
Uh,
Kenobi.
apparently that's a thing in Book of Boba Fett right now. There was like some like shitty robot with just a bunch of arms that started twirling around.
Amazing.
General
I
Grievous
have
is dead.
not gotten past the first episode. I just haven't gotten around to see it.
I'm still on season 1 of Mandalorian, man.
And this is coming from the Star Wars nerd too.
Yep.
Come on,
I
man,
mean,
you're slacking.
Yeah, I don't watch TV anymore.
That's a lie.
Same.
I cannot tell. Okay, I watched 1 episode of South Park yesterday.
You're currently watching a TV / monitor.
Oh, there you go, monitor.
Same thing.
Hey, I'm watching myself.
Exactly.
I forget.
You narcissist.
Did I ask you guys if you've seen Gate?
Gate?
Yeah, Gate. It's an anime.
No.
Steins Gate.
No, basically,
Gate Zero.
no. Basically, Gate is
Watergate.
a portal opens up from
Pizzagate?
another world where there's magic and dragons and mystical creatures and shit, but they're also still using like Roman aged and Roman era weapons. So you've got the big tall shields with their gladius and shit. Just like think Roman period with dragons, elves, and shit.
Okay.
Against the modern might of the Japanese military. And they just slaughter them. I watched that for a while. Really good show.
Is it a short show?
I think it's got 1 season, maybe 2. But yeah, it's pretty short. But I've been watching another show kind of similar to that called World Trigger, where it's similar in the sense that there's a gate that opens in Japan. And this time it's people called the neighbors. They call them the neighbors. And they kidnap people and kill people and take them back. And then the whole arc develops and you learn like who certain characters or backstories are and why they do what they do. And it's been pretty interesting. It's been my latest fix.
Okay, cool. I'll add that to the list of things I need to watch after One Piece.
Yeah, Gate is definitely fun. It's honestly after I took my break from One Piece because I think I reached like episode 60 and then binge watched all of South Park and then watched Gate a couple times.
Wait.
What
do you mean by all of South
60
Park?
episodes in.
Like all of South Park from episode 1, season 1 to post-COVID movie.
I watched so the 1 episode I watched yesterday was season 1 episode 2. They
the
go
alien
hunting.
One? No,
they
yeah,
go
that's the hunting one.
And so the kids, it starts off, the kids are going hunting with like Stan's uncle or Kyle's uncle or somebody, and they go up into the mountain. And as plot progresses, it turns out that the mountain is actually a volcano. I don't know if they ever say that ever in the show ever again, but the mountain is a volcano. And side plot was Stan is too nervous to kill any animals, and Cartman is trying to scare people, so he makes up Snugglebutt or something like that, or Scuttlebutt, and he dresses up as Scuttlebutt, and he gets them to start chasing him, and then Stan's finally about to shoot Cartman, and then Cartman takes his mask off. He's like, "Oh, I'm actually Cartman," and then volcano erupts. Who saves them? Scuttlebutt. Scuttlebutt saves them, saves the town of South Park, But meanwhile, I think Stan's dad, uh, what's his name?
Randy.
Something Randy. I think it's Randy says, "Oh, we should divert the lava down," and it turns out the lava went and just flooded Denver,
Oh.
Colorado, and killed everyone in Denver. And then so everyone's celebrating. Scuttlebutt helped them, and then Stan finally gets the balls to kill someone and kills Scuttlebutt. And they're just like, "What the fuck, dude?"
Didn't Kenny die in that one too?
I think so.
I think that was back when they were doing Kenny dying in every episode.
And then it turns out that Kenny has a superpower, which is he can die, and then people will forget that he died.
That's a superpower.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
and he's
That's
what,
amazing.
that's
That
his
they
his
finally
name?
and
made it
Coon and
meta.
friends. I think it's like Mysterion or something like that.
Something
Mysterio.
like that. But he has like a question mark
Yeah,
suit and everything. But it turns
purple
out that that's his
suit,
superpower.
green question mark. Yeah, he's like, my superpower, I can't die. If I die, I wake up the next day in my clothes like nothing happened, and my friends don't remember.
Yeah.
So I never continued watching that show by the time we were in high school. I just couldn't. But my top 3 episodes are still um, the Lord of the Rings episode, the World of Warcraft episode, and the baseball one.
They just want to lose, but everyone else wants to lose.
Everyone's better at losing. I'm sorry, I thought this was
They go-
America.
and they're winning by how much, and the freaking they only lose because Randy gets in a fight with Bat Dad.
It's like
I didn't hear no bell.
I didn't
it's
hear no
like
bell.
Brad's actual experience
Yeah,
with a state championship.
It wasn't like state or anything. But actually that reminds me of a I'm gonna call it a minor injury from baseball. So
maybe if you knew
it's
how to
it's
slide
because
right.
it's because you mentioned people want to just lose in baseball. They're so around here, at least when I was playing, all the rich kids like they didn't want to play. It's just their parents that make them do a sport over the summer to get them out of the fucking house. So I would go to places like Berwyn and all these other rich places around Illinois, and all of them had like the shittiest baseball fields.
Wait, you're calling Berwyn a rich place?
Burr Ridge,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
I was gonna
Burr
say.
Burr. Well, I mean Berwyn has a hoity-toity area, but no, like Burr Ridge. Uh, so um, they always had like the shittiest fields for whatever reason, even though these are like billion-dollar towns. Um, so minor injury, one of the fields instead of dirt, it was just pure rocks. And
Oh,
I'm thinking again, I was a base runner, so I went and slid multiple times, and by the end of that game, even with my socks on, my legs were all bloodied up because I just had to keep sliding into rocks. But
I know that feeling.
so what you said is like all those rich kids just always want to lose. There's always like that one teammate that was just like, oh, I'm gonna try to carry these guys. Everyone else is
guys, can we start our summer vacation yet?
I want to start a beer league or something someday,
A
like
beer
men's
league.
softball league. Yeah,
I
that's what they're
hear
called.
men's volleyball league's pretty common.
Yeah, I played volleyball too, so I wouldn't mind doing that. That'd be fun. Volleyball is probably the most fun sport I've ever played. Um,
Mhm.
aside from ultimate frisbee, but I don't consider that. I mean, it's I guess a sport, but
An
it's not
ultimate
like
sport.
it's not like a streamlined sport.
It's on X Games.
Yeah, X Games mode.
All right,
Um,
Brad,
have
is
you
there
ever
something moving
watched
in your
X
closet?
Games
I'm sorry, what, Billy?
Is there something moving in your closet?
again?
Today. What
Have
you
any
say,
of you
Z?
guys actually watched X Games?
Yeah, I used to
Yeah,
watch it all the
back in
time
the
when I was
day,
big in skateboarding.
I used to watch
I can't watch it.
what was it, Sean White and who was that really popular skater kid? It was like Ryan something, I think.
Ryan
Ryan
Seacrest.
Seacrest.
I love that we both
Yeah.
thought that. You just imagine
Uh,
him on a skateboard.
Burnquist? Right?
Speaking of Ryan Seacrest, my favorite memory of him is him being an American Idol and trying to high
Oh.
five a blind kid.
I remember that. Equal rights. Uh,
Yeah, right.
Ryan Sheckler. I remember watching him when I
Ah,
was young.
Sheckler. Yeah,
I
yeah,
can't
yeah.
remember
Yeah,
if
I
Travis Pastrana was in X Games.
Yeah,
think he
he's
was.
a dirt bike guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
That and then what's the other thing I watched? Like I liked watching the it's like something to do with Monster.
Monster
Uh,
trucks?
like Monster Energy drink.
Oh.
They used to
It's
put
in a
on
lot
like
of
X
things now,
Games.
isn't it?
Well, they used to do their own like X type thing if I remember correctly.
Gotcha.
Their own X
Um,
Games mode.
Well, yeah, Red Bull does the same thing too.
yeah. Um, that's also back when I wanted to paintball really bad because I think paintball was like in X Games or some shit.
Now it's
I
its own thing, isn't it? Paintballing?
So
I
I
don't
don't know
think
if
it's
you ever
popular
had
anymore.
that, Billy, or in your areas that you grew up in, but I know there was a recreational park by us that every summer would have this like big tournament of paintballers, and they would just bring in this huge net, have like what four areas in total, and like
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
these teams of friends would just like sign up, and it would just be like the most
be like
homemade
predatory.
paintball area. But yeah, it was a tournament. I never got into it, but I always like passed by and I was watching it, and like
Uh, oh, are you talking about at the Breck
yeah,
or?
yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, that was always cool because so me and Madden used to go there, pick up paintballs off the ground, get free paintballs, hoping that one day we could collect them and then use a gun.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but they also had the one year I remember they had free balls energy, and
Balls
we used to,
energy.
yeah, we used to go there. We used to go there to get balls. Um, Billy, you probably don't know this. So CPX Sports was the most popular and
Oh,
I
Billy
think
went with
best
us.
selling.
I was gonna say,
Not
is
not
that the
not
one
with
we
you,
went to?
Brad. Yeah. So we hung
It
out
was
with
you, me,
Carson
Carson, and the ladies.
yeah, we ended up going to
What?
that place.
Hold on. Are you sure it was CPX
Yeah.
Yeah.
and not Paintball Explosion?
No, it was definitely CPX.
Okay, because CPX closed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the one that me
Because
and
I've always wanted to go back and see. He's like, it's fucking closed, my guy.
yeah, yeah. Luckily, we went there
Okay,
before it closed down.
It was fun.
2018
Yeah, we
is when
went
it
Remember
there
when
at
I
closed.
got fucking
17.
friendly fired? Fucking own teammates shot me in the ass while I was moving from cover to cover.
But so CPX Sports was pretty sure number one rated paintball park in the United States
Oh wow,
It was
for a
definitely a
while.
nice park.
it was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went there
I remember
twice. Sorry, go ahead.
I remember a lot of YouTubers that I watched would travel out to Illinois, and a podcast I listened to, they actually mentioned Bolingbrook because they went to the Tilted Kilt in Bolingbrook one time, and
Nice.
they had like a really shitty experience there. They would always say, "Yeah, fuck Bolingbrook."
That's the spirit.
Yeah,
I went there twice with a buddy of ours, and the first time I remember specifically because like my life flashed before my eyes at that moment. This guy was like maybe 5 feet away from me, and he shot me multiple times, and one of them was like a few inches away from my nuts. I was just like, oh, like I'm in pain, but thank fuck it was right there, not in the wrong spot.
Yeah, that would have been rough. Two
Yeah,
balls would have
those
popped that day.
those welts are nuts, man. Uh,
I played a lot of paintball for a couple years. I would go at least a couple times a year, and the one that I remember, I mean, I have a bunch of paintball stories, but the one I remember hurting the most, it was like probably like 10 degrees outside, and I was wearing like a really big hoodie, so the colder it is, the harder the paintballs are, so they're not gonna explode. And my hoodie kept snagging them too, so like I never got out because I never had paint on me. But I do remember specifically getting hit in like the inner thigh, at one point, the ball not breaking, and then me taking my pants off earlier and seeing just blood.
Oh, oh, do
Yeah,
you remember going? This was our freshman year in high school. We went for Jacob's birthday party, and
yeah,
Bo shot you in the ass.
yeah. I that was the start of the first round. I think
Yeah,
I run forward, I get behind cover, and Bodu just up my back, and I what the fuck, dude?
I remember that moment. You just yelled out, "You shot me in the ass!" And then later on, I ended up getting shot in the mouth, and like the mask that I was wearing, like
Oh,
it was just a bunch of lines so I can breathe
Yeah.
through it. But that thing just like went through, and it still like hurt the shit out of my lips. We ended
yeah.
up.
Paintball wells are no joke. And then we moved on to airsoft, and we played that behind Madden in Madden's backyard all the time.
Oh yeah.
We used to play where me and Anselmo or me and Austin would get the shittier guns, and Madden would get the high powered one. And whenever we would play against him, it'd be a 2v1 because our guns were so hard to like load and all that, and he just beat us every time, and it hurt every fucking time. And I remember getting hit square in the tip of my dick. I was wearing sweatpants, and probably tighter sweatpants that I should have been wearing, right? And just outline of the dick, right? Just on the tip, probably touch the hole, that hurt.
Sounds
Um,
painful.
I
Get
love
some
that
BBs for a
explanation you
week.
use with your finger.
and then what actually I feel bad because the one time, so I was in a TV video class in high school, and we had to film some big project, and we used a airsoft gun to film one of the scenes, and you're not supposed to shoot airsoft guns dry. You have to have a pellet in there so it doesn't damage it.
Hmm.
Um, so we took a couple takes, and I'm pointing it at Madden, and whenever I shoot, I'm aiming away from him, but you got to make it look realistic because of the angle. So I shoot towards him, and I hit the tip of his ear in one of the takes, and it didn't tear it or anything, but it like cut it enough for it to bleed like really badly. And then uh, his mom got a little upset with us because there were just pellet marks on the wall behind.
Ooh, the amount of stuff you guys got away with from her.
That's a window.
Yeah, that one specifically.
That was probably the best one. So that was the first day we hung out with Jake. I'm pretty sure.
Probably.
Was that? I think that's what we filmed Man's Game.
Yeah.
So Billy, same guy. So we had a group of friends that we would film just a bunch of stuff with,
Hmm.
and I don't think we were filming at this point, but we were just kicking around a football. So he lived in a cul-de-sac,
Yep.
and we would kick the ball across from each other. And the very first kick in Zelmo uh, kicked. I saw it go high up. It was going towards the house, and before it hit or anything, I said, "That's a window," and it crashed straight through their window, second floor in their house.
It was such a perfect
Luckily,
shot too.
luckily, it was their house.
Yeah,
I'll
right.
say that.
Oh
And
my
then
god.
she came home, and her reaction was holy shit, and then walked in, and that was
That was it. Yeah.
it.
Nah, Mama Madden was a G.
Yeah, she was.
She was really cool. Um, it's almost mom too, but she was always working.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, no, that was I don't know. I kind of miss filming stuff. Like it was so stupid back then, but it was
Yeah,
like I look
It was a
upon
simpler
those
time.
very, very fondly.
yeah. And now we're here, filming podcasts, filming.
Filming the
Help
gay
me.
porn.
Yeah,
Um, Go ahead, Z. I was
I was
gonna
gonna.
sidetrack.
Yeah, I was too. Because speaking of being with friends and stuff like that. I kind of miss Dungeons and Dragons. We did that for a little bit, and
Yeah, I think you know it's for the DM, and so I tried DMing once, and it takes a lot to DM.
Yep,
Um,
it's a lot of work.
I didn't think about when I tried it, I didn't think about reading very far ahead and taking notes as I'm reading because the DM basically needs to know the entire story.
yeah,
Mhm.
Um, and I'm not a reader. So Kara, my fiance, she was our DM, and she did a good job. I mean, it was her first time DMing,
Mhm.
and COVID hit, COVID was already, I think, a thing when it started, but it kind of fucked with schedules and all of that. Um, but it also, every time it came to it, she was like crunching, trying to
yeah,
read, and I'm like, damn, I feel bad, like, and
Mhm.
also, one thing, and you see this with like other friend groups, but you have like forever DMs, and Kara likes to play the characters,
Yeah,
so she didn't want to be like stuck with the DM, but I think we could still try it again someday.
yeah.
maybe this time Jess can be the DM.
I don't picture Jessica doing that at all.
I wouldn't mind being DM, but you're right. It is a lot of work. So
Yeah, it'd be up to you if you ever want to put something together, but
yeah,
I think next time we try it, we should plan ahead a little bit better because again, Kara was doing it week by week with the way we're doing it.
right.
I mean, one thing we can do too is like we don't have to do a full blown campaign. We could try those like little one shots, that they do.
True.
We can just go
Um,
through a couple of them.
my other DM, so we stopped playing with our other group around the same time we stopped playing, and he wanted to do a Kingdom Hearts one, which I thought would actually be pretty fucking cool. Kingdom Hearts one
Hmm.
shot, because the powers in Kingdom Hearts are kind of cool, where you have like Keyblade wielder or magic users or different things. But you have the Final Fantasy side of it, and then you have the Disney side of it,
Hmm.
which is pretty dope. Um, Also, it is canon that Donald Duck is the strongest mage user in the Final Fantasy universe.
I think I've heard of
He,
that.
he uses it's something like Zeta Flare or some shit, which is like the highest level you could get in a Final Fantasy game for an attack, and he just uses it multiple times nonchalantly.
Those are some games
uh,
I've I've liked to wanted to get into, but I just never did. Just
it's
never got
tough.
around to it.
The problem with it, and it might be a little bit easier now because of the additions that are up, but growing up with it, I actually started with two and then I played one. But it's like I actually look it up, but it's game list by uh year, I guess, chronological. So in 2002, Kingdom Hearts came out. Why this isn't anyway? So Kingdom Hearts came out, and then some, which was on like the PS2, and then Kingdom Hearts like Chain of Memories came out, which I think might have been PS2, and then Kingdom Hearts 2 came out. Then a Kingdom Hearts game came out on the PSP, and then one came out on the
Hmm.
DS, and like it was exclusive to those things, but
Yep.
the story stayed the same. So like you had to have these different things to get along with the fucking story. So you
Yep.
can't actually, so you can go from one to two pretty well without knowing anything in between. Like you're probably missing a couple things. From two to three, there is hundreds of hours of content that you're fucking missing. But what they ended up doing is they made Kingdom Hearts Final Mix like 1.5, which is like Kingdom Hearts 1, Kingdom Hearts Memories, Kingdom Hearts blah blah blah. And they did that for all three of them.
Yeah.
But the story is so fucking convoluted. Like if you like for the people who have trouble, sitting and watching One Piece, which has a very linear storyline, good luck. Or if you have trouble with that, good luck paying attention to fucking. That's all I have to say.
I can only imagine. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, One Piece storyline is isn't bad because it is linear, like you said, but there are some things that, depending on how much and how fast you ingest that show, there's gonna be a lot of things you end up forgetting that they end up bringing back. You're like, oh shit.
You're pretty. I mean, I'm not gonna say lucky, but like you're doing a good job by getting through it the way you are because there's probably stuff that is still fresh in your mind that you're gonna remember when it pops up.
Yeah.
Because there's stuff for me, and it's a problem with me with reading One Piece is anime draws things out a little bit more, obviously. Uh, so there are things that were in the anime or were in the manga or One Piece in general that I don't fucking remember because I probably read that chapter in under 3 minutes 4 years ago,
Right.
and it's tough to recall some of that stuff. I did that with Naruto. I read all of Naruto Shippuden within 2 days. I don't remember
Christ.
fucking all of it.
Did you just turn the fucking pages?
I mean, I read. I mean, it. Honestly, reading manga is so quick.
Yeah.
It
You
really
could
is.
probably
Just
read.
thought bubbles.
You could read if you like took a couple days off. You could read all of One Piece in a.
I remember.
Especially like if you're not super paying attention to the art and you're just reading,
Yeah.
and then like kind of like glancing at the fight scenes, and that's it. Yeah,
That's
you
usually
can get
what I
through
do.
stuff.
Like, I remember my introduction to manga. This was like fourth grade or something. We were going to a bookstore. I ended up finding one that I liked. I forgot what it was. And I remember my mom giving me shit for it because it was like, I think it was like $7 or $8 or something like that. And at first, she got mad because she said I wasn't going to read it. And then I tell her the following day that I finished reading it, and then she got mad because
Too fast.
yeah.
Yep.
So
I felt bad because my mom bought me. Actually, so when my mom found out that I started watching anime, she got for whatever reason they got Shonen Jump at her work. Like it was just they I don't know if it was something that someone subscribed to from work that they after they stopped reading that they just put it in the pile or what. But my mom would bring home Shonen Jump magazines, which was like, you know, pretty thick, but it was like the chapters for all of the recent mangas of that week. And when I started reading that, then she got me some manga for Christmas one time, and it was Bleach. And I remember reading it was the first 3 volumes of Bleach. I did it just in a couple hours, and she's like, "Oh, you already read all that?" And it's like, yeah. I mean, like it's not like I'm reading a book.
right.
Kara's trying to read 50 books this year.
How many
Good for
books
She's
her.
are
already she's at least she's already one in for sure. It was like a 900-page book, so that was one of her longer ones.
God damn.
And it was like the last book in a series that she's been reading for a while.
Right.
Um, she told me that the last one, not the last line, but in the last chapter, it basically said, "And they won because the power of friendship." It's like this, like kind of serious fantasy book, and then just that line, "They won because of friendship."
Classic. What a way to end it.
I hope the One Piece is the friends you made along the way. I hope that's what the One Piece is.
Wasn't about the adventures, about the friends they made along the way.
It was the adventure and the friends, Billy.
The friends were the adventure.
The One Piece.
Where
is
are
actually,
you in One Piece?
Uh, I am at the point where Luffy is fighting the right hand man, well, the first son of.
Katakuri?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is an
The
even
mochi
more
mochi
hype
fruit.
fight. That is an even more hype fight than Doflamingo. It is.
Is it? That's
Tell
awesome.
me when you are finished. Tell me when you are fucking finished with that.
Yeah, because he just they're starting to like amp it up because they're already in the mirror world and yeah, Luffy's
It's
already
so
getting his
good.
ass kicked. So we'll see
Oh,
how
it's
this
so
goes.
good.
Because it's It's a crazy. It, I'm just like questioning it the entire time because for anyone that doesn't know, there's this thing called hockey in there where you use it to be able to attack someone that's got like a devil fruit or like a logia type fruit that doesn't normally like take damage from like regular attacks. So hockey gives you the ability to actually hurt them physically.
You
And
have to have hockey to hurt these guys, basically.
yes, and Luffy is fighting this dude with a billion something
Bounty.
yeah, bounty, and he's just like all of his punches are just going through him. And it's just
Hmm.
like, what the fuck is he gonna do now? Because like he's questioning it, I'm questioning it. I'm just like, fuck. This,
Yeah.
I every time I feel like they can't like bring it up a notch, they do.
And this is the point, like after Dressrosa is where they have to start picking it up because once you think about it, the grand scheme of things, who are your next few enemies? You're up to Yonko at this point.
Yeah,
You have to fight the Emperor. So he's fighting the right hand man. Next step, you're gonna have to start fighting Emperors soon.
yep,
And then after Emperors, you got to start fighting Admirals. Like
yep.
probably in the next 5 years, Luffy's gonna end up fighting some of the Admirals.
And the admirals left such a good feeling for me. Like I really love the introduction to all three, the first three admirals. That it's just
Yeah.
like every time I see one, I'm just enjoying it just a little bit more because you don't normally get to see them as much.
Yep. I cannot wait until Fujitora pops back up. I don't
I
know what
love
they're
them.
gonna do with him because he likes Luffy. He
Yeah,
wants to be on Luffy's side, but they literally told him you can't come back to HQ until you capture Luffy.
yeah.
Which I think they did that with like Smoker too, but I think they were kind of more lenient with Smoker. But
I think now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Smoker is kind of like that. I don't know, best friend, best enemy. Not best
he's
friend, but like
uh he's Garp to what's it called?
Brooks.
to Goldie.
The pirate to yeah to the Pirate King.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking. So, I mean, it's awesome because I fucking love Smoker. Like ever since they
Yeah,
showed him, he's just always been a solid character that I enjoyed
I
watching.
I I love him because one, his Devil Fruit was cool. He was one of the first Logia types that we ran into.
Yep,
His attitude towards catching pirates, but also being like you could tell he's a good guy.
yep,
Like that scene where the kid dropped his ice cream or whatever, and he like patted his head and was like, "Here, buy a triple scoop or whatever on me." Like
yeah,
Smoker's just a good dude. I like characters like that. Same
right.
with Fujitora. Like what? So it's a cheesy line, but so Billy Fujitora is an admiral. So
Hmm.
one of the stronger guys in the show. Probably I would say top 10, 15 strongest in the show, just based off of his rank alone. And his fucking devil fruit's insane. But he is blind. He blinded himself because of like the shit that the like I think probably because of the world government. I think he's blinded himself because of the shit that
Yeah,
he's
everything that he's
seen.
seen.
But the last line, or one of the last lines he said when Luffy was sailing away, was like, "I wonder what your smile looks like," and I'm
He's
just
like,
like, "What a nice fucking dude."
right, because he's just like he senses he's a good person,
Yeah,
and he asks that question, but then he's also like, I want to see you. I would like to. I wish I didn't blind myself. He actually said that because he
yeah.
wanted to actually see what Luffy looks like. It was like, fuck, dude. Imagine being that genuine of a person that someone who actually blinded themselves due to how fucked up the world is kind of regrets it now.
Yeah.
Like that's awesome.
Fujitora is a great character, and I'm excited to see more of him.
It really is.
Him
Billy,
and
you got to get on
I
Yeah.
and we've only gotten glimpses of Admiral Greenbull, but I can't wait to see him because so the thing with him is he hasn't apparently eaten food in 3 years. So there's something weird with that. That's along the lines of Blackbeard has never slept,
Oh shit.
or doesn't, or has rarely slept. I think it was a line that he's never slept before,
Yeah.
or he doesn't need sleep. Um, so the thing that people are thinking with Blackbeard is he has either like a Cerberus Zoan fruit, so Cerberus the three-headed dog, right? So that's why he's allowed to have three, or he's multiple people in one body. So when one sleeps, the other is active, and that's why he doesn't need sleep, and that's why he can have multiple devil fruits.
What a theory. That is nuts.
Yep, One Piece is wild.
Yeah, that that other admiral that you were talking about. I mean, if they're holding him back like they held back what was his name? Akainu? I think the lava guy?
Yeah,
Like cuz he man, what a character to be introduced the way he was. And if they do
yeah,
something similar to that other admiral, like these guys are just so good at kind of at introducing you to characters.
yeah. Oh
Like,
yeah, the intro to Fujitoro was cool with like
mm-hmm.
the whole you just think he's some like blind dude, and then it turns out he's a fucking admiral just chilling in a
Yeah,
bar,
I
gambling.
the most recent one that made me just go like, "What the fuck?" is the Yonko Kaido. So like, they're talking about this guy that's just like trying to jump off of Sky Island to kill himself, and they're just talking about all these other things like he can't die, blah blah blah, and come to find out that it's actually Kaido, a Yonko, an emperor. Like,
This man is so strong that he is not he has lost fights, but he can't die. Like no one's been able to kill him. So he's gotten so sad that no one's been able to kill him that he tried to kill himself by jumping off of like the equivalent of Mount Everest, and he lived.
he lived,
He
yeah.
just landed on. I don't think he landed on both of his feet, but he landed and got up like a fucking badass. Like, oh, I'm still here.
Huh.
Right in front of Kid
Oh yeah, Kid
and
and the rest of his alliance.
the other guys, Hawkins and all of them.
Yeah,
It's insane.
yeah.
He had a millennial attitude.
I've been slowing it down a little bit with One Piece, but I'm still
Get
enjoying it.
get through the Katakuri fight, and then do whatever you want from there. But get through the Katakuri fight.
Yeah, I think I'm hoping once I get into Wano that like I get even more hyped like I normally do with it. Um, I going into Whole Cake Island, it was like I wasn't as hyped for it.
I agree.
Um, but I've been enjoying it. I mean, there's some parts that are really good and stuff, but
I
yeah, I
wasn't
just
the
wasn't
biggest
hyped.
fan of Whole Cake, but that was more of a I think more of a pacing thing.
Yeah.
They went back to the roots of like throwing a good bit of comedy here. Let's
Also,
introduce all these goofy characters, and then make Luffy fight fucking everything that walks in front of him.
I'm not too big of a fan of seeing these guys constantly, not constantly, but just like split up.
Yeah,
That's
there was a chart that came out on Reddit where by year it shows characters that have shown up in One Piece, and like I'm gonna get the years wrong, but let's say Whole Cake Island came out in 2019. 2019, 2020, and 2021, you don't see Zoro, you don't see like for all of the chapters that were released, you don't see Zoro at all for that fucking long because you're not getting flashes to what they're doing over on Zoe
yeah,
or whatever it is.
yeah,
Uh,
and I mean, I get some of the reasons why they split up and all that. Like, I don't know. It's just me
there
though.
is a very so in the grand scheme of One Piece, they're only separated for a couple days or whatever it is, or like a week or some shit. But they gave us a little, and you'll, I guess this is a minor spoiler, but it's not like plot. Um, Luffy and Zoro seeing each other for the first time in Wano. They had a really heartwarming moment, and I think that was Oda and Toei or whoever animates it giving the fans a little bit of gratification of, oh, we haven't seen these guys together for years in our lives, like 4 real fucking years of our lives. We haven't seen these two on the screen together, and just seeing them like it. I won't say anything more, but seeing them see each other was just so sweet.
That's awesome. And they're good at that stuff too, like
Yeah,
heartfelt moments.
yeah. I mean, they're good at tearing on your fucking
All
heartstrings
the
and ripping
time,
them
dude.
out.
All the time. All the
Billy,
time.
every character. I don't care if you meet like a little kid in some random town. He's gonna have a sad ass backstory, and you're gonna care about him.
Yep.
Say, what was the guy who uses his legs all the time, and his backstory just keeps getting worse and worse?
Yes, it's so sad. He was experimented on by his own fucking father, and he was exiled by his siblings because he was different than them, because the experiments or whatever didn't work. And his dying mother, like he's like, oh, I just want to be a chef, and his dying mother would like eat his food, and then his dad would basically go and beat the shit out of her.
And then he was starving on an island with the head chef.
Yeah, and owner Zeph chopped off like his own legs or something
Yep,
for
just to
for some shit.
it was like feed him or help save him.
Yeah,
Yeah. Out of all those episodes, I still think like it tugs on my heartstring. Like almost every time I think about it, is Zoro's. I don't. Have you gotten up to that part, Billy?
I've
Where
gotten up to
where
where
Zoro's a kid?
Zoro, yeah, because it's like Zoro's a kid and he wants to become the greatest swordsman, and he's
Yes.
got that friend that
fell
wants
down
to
the
become the
stairs.
greatest swordswoman, and she ends up, kicking the can before
Yeah.
spoilers, before either of them can become swordsmen. So he makes the promise that he'll be the greatest swordsman for her.
Yeah.
So I told this to Z. They don't say this in the anime, but I'm pretty sure they say it either in the manga or one of the translations. Um, so Kuina, his childhood friend,
Hmm.
fell down the stairs. That's how she died. But in Japan, that's a basically a innuendo for she killed herself. She
Would make sense.
Yeah, so she fell down the stairs, means she killed herself. But there's a joke there. So obviously, the will of D, Billy, Monkey D,
Hmm.
Luffy,
Yep.
Portis D, Ace, Skull D, Roger, right? All of that. She was killed by down D stairs.
And here I was gonna be like, yeah, it makes sense because she was sad that she was kept being told she's never gonna be the greatest swordsman because she's a woman. And here you are
So
No.
with down D stairs.
so Kara has taken that and put that joke into her everyday lives. Or if there's ever anything that like she could sneak a D into it, she will.
Yeah, you too.
I'll sneak a D into you, bud.
It's always D's
You
nuts.
never let us sneak D's. Hey, yeah,
And
speaking of D's nuts, hey, Z, you ever figure out what the Spanish word for gloves was?
No, I didn't actually.
Oh, Juanti's balls in your mouth?
That's not even how you pronounce it.
Yeah, it's Juan.
Yeah,
Juan.
there we go.
Idiot.
So Brad always made me laugh whenever he tried doing like I don't know, Spanish words. But he doesn't actually try them as Spanish words. He just throws O at the end of every fucking word. And we had this
Globo.
English yeah, pretty much. We had this English class back in high school where there was this Mexican kid, and I forgot what the whole situation was, but like I'm always gonna remember him saying "El throw O."
I think we were tossing stuff back and forth, and I threw some at him, and he looked at me weird. I'm like, El throw.
It was one of those Mexican kids that like couldn't really speak English that well either.
I mean, he could. Just I don't know. That was a funny kid though.
Yeah, he was cool.
We had some fun in those classes. I remember. Oh man, I don't know if it was that English class or what, but I remember this was the dumbest time to do it. Lights were out. We're watching like a history movie or some shit in English class for some reason. Um, and I'm like going through my backpack. I'm cleaning it out, and I hand a can of Axe to my buddy sitting next to me, and this is when I started smoking, and I pulled out a lighter, and as I'm like pulling out more stuff, I look at the lighter, and he looks at the can of Axe, and we go. And there's a girl with her head down like this, and we like up in the air just a little bit, make a little flamethrower, and like girl doesn't move, right? And we do it again, and the teacher's like, "What was that?" And we turn over, we see like her hair is just slightly singed
Oh.
with it coming out. That wasn't like and we didn't burn anything off. It was just maybe the strands, the tips.
I remember. I don't know if you ever heard this before, but when we were in middle school, this girl we knew, Brianna, she ended up in the middle of class pulling the fire alarm and running back to class and yelling, "Oh my God, someone pulled the fire alarm," and pretty much ratting herself out.
Brianna Peterson. Wasn't the okay, so I have a story about her. I used to have her in one of my science classes, I think. And Matt Bauheis would sell her she would get I think 2 pills, not bottles, not anything, 2 pills of Adderall for $50 each. Matt would sell her 2 pills of Adderall for $100 fucking bucks.
Jesus.
And I'm like, I never said anything, and I just remember talking to Matt, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that bitch may be rich." She'd buy it all the time, and I think this was like, I don't know, senior year of high school, so she had a part-time job or some shit, so she just took that money and bought Adderall with it.
Damn, imagine, fucking having $100 like that on the fly, dude. Man, imagine? I'd be lucky to have like $20.
Say that was like 3 weeks of work for me. What the fuck?
Right.
You worked back then? I didn't.
I worked senior year.
I didn't work until I was out of high school.
You don't work now. Shut up.
I mean,
my first job was at a gas station. My girlfriend at the time hooked me up with it. I started out as the backroom stalker guy with putting in the the fridge shit, cans,
the milk,
Coke,
and
whatever. Yeah. The chick who normally did it was on vacation for like 2 weeks, so over the summer I started doing that. I was getting paid under the table for a little bit, and then her dad he owned the place, officially hired me on. I stayed there on and off for like 4 years. And then while I was in college, I worked at Target for a little bit. And then I worked at a rec center for the rest of my college career.
Anyone ever tell you you look like a guy that has worked at a gas station?
I can see it. Is that why you have your gas station S tier list?
Yes. Because, okay, so the gas station I worked at, actual S tier, right? Because this place was essentially a
Because you worked there.
Well, no, but this place was essentially like an actual, it was like a restaurant. So obviously you had like the gas station side of things, but on the back wall they had an actual deli where they get fresh meat almost like probably twice a week, 3 times a week. So they get fresh deli products, and they made whatever sandwich you really wanted. It was basically like a Subway where you could pick and choose, or they had like pre-made things. But then they also made chicken, fried chicken. They made chili. They made fish, red beans and rice. So all of the stuff was cooked fresh, and then over the summer we would grill. once every Wednesday we would go outside with a big flat top grill and we would just cook hamburgers and hot dogs for a couple bucks each. Um, so yes, that is where that stems from. But it also depends on if your gas station has warm food already, like probably a B tier. Depends on what the warm food is.
It's got mochi.
Okay, your gas station was weird.
Yeah, your gas
Your gas
station
station
was
had
weird.
But it
crackheads
was
hanging
S
out
tier
in
for
it.
you guys.
Your gas station had crackheads hanging out in it, but it had mochi
And it was clean ish.
and it was clean. That also mattered.
Also, while we're on the you kind of look like, all right,
Oh,
picture
I don't want to
picture
hear where you're going with
picture
this.
Billy, right? I've always said this to this day, and he still hasn't worn it. Just give him a tank top, put a gold chain on it, and
And
get
a
like
fucking
an
Adidas
Adidas,
jumpsuit.
yeah, an Adidas jumpsuit. Dude looks like he
A Russian
he could be
mobster.
like a Russian mobster. Yeah.
Freaking I think I told you
Uh,
I don't have an Adidas jumpsuit, but I've got the freaking what was like the Shaq equivalent of Adidas? One something?
I
Not
don't know
sure.
what you're
Not
talking about
yeah.
though.
I don't remember. I've got one of those though. You know, I've got two jumpsuit for those. I'm actually wearing one of the pants for them. Hold on, let me look. And one.
He looks like he could be in Hawkeye season
Wait,
one.
that's not Shaq though.
Yeah, you know, potato, they're a basketball player.
Hold on, are you saying you have Jordan shit?
He has and one, yeah.
And shit.
Oh my god.
He called it Shaq. Brad actually has Shaq stuff, okay? You're
I
talking
have a Shaq chair.
you're talking to the guy that will invest in Shaq stuff.
I
I
thought it
bought
was just his fiance that did.
I or we split it. It's a $375 computer chair that is still
That
comfortable
she
to this
uses
fucking day.
90% of the time.
Yeah, I used it. I used it a lot when we first bought it, but since I have my own desk, I don't need to.
Now
Actually,
you
I
just gotta
sat at
get
it
your own.
yesterday. I had so yesterday I had licorice in here. I just put him on the chair and he just sat with me while I was working all day.
A little Doctor Evil moment right there. Just petting the cat.
You're not turtly enough for the turtle club?
Do you guys ever see that movie? Master of Disguise?
Yes.
Yes, too many times.
I actually God, who was it? I think I might have actually been my roommate. We were talking about it. And I made a quote and she's like, "No way, you've seen that movie?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Nobody talk that if I talk about the movie, nobody knows what I'm talking about."
That's
Hidden
such a
gems.
dog shit movie, but as a kid, it was
It's so
amazing.
fucking funny. It
Um,
was better than Open House.
This is
so
true.
that was one of the. So we took a road trip to like Tennessee or some shit when I was a kid, and that was
You're a
back
kid?
when we got a. I want to say it was a portable DVD player, and
Mm-hmm.
we got Master of Disguise for whatever fucking reason, or not DVD player, a portable. It had to have been a portable VHS player because I don't think I had that on DVD. I don't think I could have had that on DVD. So I somehow had a VHS player in the car. Maybe it was like it wasn't one of the vans with it. We did have the vans where you could put it in there, but I vividly remember being
Sure
in a car.
wasn't a portable DVD player? Because I know
No.
they had them out pretty. You. This might be a little sidetrack. I'll continue it after your story.
Um, long story short, I probably watched that like 3 or 4 times going to Tennessee because I think it was $1 Million Baby. Hold on, I think that.
The fact that you had a portable VHS player.
Hold on, I need to look that up
What
too.
the
Portable.
fuck kind of
While
boomer shit
he
is that, man?
while he looks that up,
Yeah.
I
Okay. There.
I only
Yup.
ever had a portable DVD player, not a VHS player.
I had a portable Nintendo GameCube. So
yeah.
the game. Okay, I'm sidetracking too much. The GameCube I had a little screen that you could attach to it, and
Mm-hmm.
then you had the thing that you could put in the cigarette lighter.
Yep.
But so it was that and $1 Million Baby, I believe. Or some movie with like baby in the name, but $1 Million Baby I think is right.
Baby.
Um, we got both of those. Master of Disguise and that. Within the first minute of Million Dollar Baby, they say the word fuck. And my mom was watching with me, and she goes, "Oh, this isn't the type of movie I thought it was," and
Oh
then
my
makes me
God.
watch Master of Disguise from then on.
That's amazing. I
Do
remember
you
this.
guys remember those juice boxes? And I'm not talking about the drinks.
What? Ju-
Juice. Let me see if I can. I should have been
Was it a
looking
music
this up.
thing?
No, it
No.
was it had cartridges for cartoons like Dexter's Laboratory and Johnny Bravo and shit. And it was just a little thing that you would watch. On
Doesn't ring a bell.
I'm getting like fever dream. Like I, I am picturing something in my head, but it's not like
It's
a solid
it's probably
thing.
the wrong thing too.
Right.
I'm gonna put it in the general chat. One of those things. So like they had cartridges with
Yeah, I
episodes
do.
of different stuff. I watched so much of that Dexter's Laboratory episode where it's like omelette du fromage when he tries to learn French.
Omelette du fromage. All the girls are just like, "Oh my god, omelette du fromage."
Oh God. I had one of
Uh,
those, and then I had one of those old portable DVD players where it had like its own built-in screen. So you'd flip
yeah.
it up, there's the DVD player with all the buttons that you would use to like play, stop, and all that, and then it had its own screen.
I had not me, but my mom always bought these the variations of like DVD players and like anything portable my mom fucking loved because we were always on the road for some fucking reason. And then
On the run from the cops.
yeah, then we got the vans that had like the DVD players in them and the VHS players in them. I remember watching the tuning exams like all the way up until like the Gara fight. I watched that multiple times because again, I wasn't good at planning ahead for how long a 9-hour road trip might actually end up being. um,
Those were big back in the day. Like I remember my mom went out of her way because we didn't do a shit ton of traveling, but we did do quite a bit of traveling, especially when we drove from California out to Indiana.
yeah,
Um, and my mom went and bought those little like DVD monitors that you would wrap around the headrest, and you can either hook them up together with a cable and it would watch the same thing, or you could watch different things on either of them, and you could plug your headphones in.
yeah. When I
I had
tell
those for
you
the
I
longest time.
when I tell you I fucking hate 70s music, it's because we used to take road trips all the time. And my dad got Sirius XM radio and the only station he fucking played was 70s on 7. And just and it wasn't even like rock music. It was like 70s pop and
Mm-hmm.
whatever the fuck you would call it back then. But
Hippie music.
that that and like the blue collar radio.
Yep.
How many times do I have to "Hey, you might be a redneck"? Like how many fucking times did I have to hear that back then?
Blue collar radio.
Red, did your dad partake in Woodstock?
I know my dad smoked weed a few times in his
Pretty
life
sure
because he got
Woodstock
bad.
was like before him.
My dad was
Woodstock
born in
was
the
in the
50s.
70s.
My
Nah,
dad was born in 55.
nah, dude, it was like in
Yeah,
the
he would have been
30s.
around then.
It
Please.
was the roaring 20s, dude. What are you talking
It
about?
was the roaring 20s.
Nah, my dad pretty straight as an arrow. Like he smoked weed a couple times. I only know that because my mom told me, and he got pissed that my mom told me. Um,
Oh no,
but
now the
nah,
internet
he
knows.
straight out of high school, he started working at a factory, and then after working at a factory, military, and then after he got out of military, immediately started working the
Nice.
same police department for 30 years.
That's how it goes. Especially back in the draft days.
Yeah, you would know, Billy.
Yeah, I was there myself.
That
with
that was
with your
another
Adidas jumpsuit.
With my
That was
Adidas,
another bit
exactly.
from South Park, episode 2. Cartman remembering being in Nam for some reason. Like, you've never been in Nam?
No, wasn't
There are
it?
Charlies everywhere. You gotta watch your six.
That was the episode that Kyle had to write a book report, wasn't it? And his uncle, the same one that he went hunting with, was in Nam, and he's like, "Yeah, I was here. We had like a giant water slide and everything." And the teacher doesn't believe when he's like, "Yeah, there was a water slide and everything."
I'm sure that was probably a part of the episodes. Only thing I remember from that episode yesterday, other than what I told you guys, is the I forgot the guy's name, but he's missing an arm. And he talks like this.
That or something like that. Oh my god.
Well, it's been fun, boys. It was a
Yeah.
good episode we had
You
today.
know, work sucks for me every Sunday. And I always come into the podcast in a bad mood. And I always leave in a much better mood. So thank you guys.
Man, I mean, nothing like remembering the juice boxes of the past.
Juice.
Or your 70s on 7 radio.
Okay, now I'm in a bad mood.
Just, let's go play some Yu-Gi-Oh! And put you in a worse mood.
Hunt Showdown.
Hunt
Put Z in a
Showdown.
bad mood.
Yeah, it definitely will put me in a bad mood. So we're about to
After
find
Hunt,
out.
we go to Yu-Gi-Oh! After Hunt. We can all leave in a bad mood.
We'll be playing both. I'll have Yu-Gi-Oh in the background.
Alpha?
So I got it up right now.
Anyways,
You've been
this has
playing this
been
whole fucking time.
Actually, I
the
haven't.
Mere
I've been
Nonsense
watching.
podcast. Fuck you, Billy. Trying to
Fuck you.
sidetrack still.
Keep it
Side
going.
note.
All right,
Side
everyone.
note.
Deuces.
Bye.
Bye.